You're listening to the Manifestation Station podcast. I'm your host, Holly Edwards, and together we can help create your magic. Hi everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Manifestation Station. I am so excited and I'm so happy that you've joined us for the very first episode. This podcast is going to be a place full of inspiration and offering tips on manifesting your dream life and helping to lift you out of life's lulls, which we all have every now and again, and hopefully send you off on your day feeling lighter, happier and more in control of your own life, because you are the master of your own life and it's about time you took control and started manifesting your dreams. And that is what we are here for, people. So I'm so excited. We are going to every week have a new subject and a new topic about manifesting and how you can become a powerful manifestor. And whether you're new to manifesting or an experienced manifestor, we are going to have tips for everybody. And I think even if you have been manifesting for a while, I've certainly been into it for a long time now. I first got into it around 17 years ago after reading The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. If you haven't read The Secret, please read it. It is a fantastic book to help ignite that fire in your belly about manifesting. And even though I've been doing it for 17 years, it's only really in the last few years that I feel like it's really clicked, and that all the steps that you take towards manifesting your dream life, all those steps are so important, but I feel like some of them are really overlooked. And we're going to touch on some of those topics in the next coming weeks. So please join us and follow us on your manifesting journey. And also, if you are an experienced manifestor already, like myself, I've had a lot of success with manifesting and a lot of people around me have, but it's still nice to dip into new kind of territories and feel inspired. And it does take some work. It's really good work and it's exciting, but it does take work, and it's about controlling your mind and shifting your mindset. And I think, you know, listening to podcasts or reading new books about manifesting, there are so many good ones out there. It all helps ignite that fire again and inspire you. And that is what I'm really hoping to do today. I am just so happy that I have an opportunity to spread a little love about manifesting, and I'm really happy to help you on your journey. So if you are new to manifesting, then you may be asking, what is manifesting? So manifesting is the art of attracting your dreams and your desires by using the law of attraction. So manifesting your dreams through the power of thought and belief and action. So we have the power through our thoughts to control what happens to us in our lives and all the good things that come into our lives, and sometimes the bad as well. So I think some people who maybe aren't into manifesting or who are a little bit skeptical, some of them feel like it's a bit spiritual and a bit fluffy when they think of manifesting, but there is a science to it. So our cells in our body listen to our brain and react to our thoughts and then go off and do the job that they need to do in our body. So our brain sends out commands to our nervous system and our cells react. So our thoughts have the ability to heal ourselves through the power of our thoughts. How amazing is that if you really think about it? So for example, now I used to do this all the time. If you are one of those people that says to everyone that you can never sleep, I can never sleep, I'm a terrible sleeper, I don't sleep very well, your cells listen and go, okay, yeah, I guess we can't sleep. And then you become a non-sleeper or an insomniac. And like I said, I used to very much be that way. And it just is an example to show how powerful your thoughts are. You are your thoughts. And that is how manifesting works. So let's think about manifesting and the steps that go into manifesting successfully. Now, we're not going to cover all of these steps today, but I want to brush over them, and we are going to go into so much more depth and detail over the coming weeks. So stick with us, but I just wanted to just graze over the steps so we kind of know what we're dealing with here. So there are steps for manifesting, and if you follow these steps and absolutely nail these steps, you can have anything you want, whether it's the new car, your amazing new soulmate, your dream job, your dream house. It is within your grasp to have all of that, and through the power of your thought, your mindset, and your behaviors and your belief. So here's a quick overview for the steps to manifesting. So the first really important step is to really figure out what it is that you want to manifest. And that sounds really simple, but you will be so surprised the amount of people I speak to. And I say, so what is it that you want to manifest? And they kind of really give a really vague answer, maybe about their job and how they kind of want a promotion at their work. And I kind of say, well, but what is it you really want? What would you really, really want to manifest? Do you want to stay in your same job? They might go, no. But I've just asked you what it is that you want, and you've said you want a promotion at your job. So it's about getting really, really honed in to what it is that you want to manifest and providing as much detail as you can. We're going to touch upon that again, so do not worry. The next step is to visualize. Visualize your goal. Visualize your end goal. Visualize how you will feel once you've received what it is that you want to manifest. And then it's also believing that you will receive your manifestation. So within your visualizations, it's believing that you can have your manifestation, but more importantly, believing and acting as though you already have received your manifestation. The next step that's really important is to relinquish your control over how and when your manifestations come true. And this is a big one and quite a difficult one to grasp. It takes some practice, but it's about removing the fear about it not happening and just releasing everything over to the universe. It's not up for you to decide how and when it will happen, but it's kind of like you've put in your order for what it is that you want, and then you relax in the knowledge that it will happen. And it's learning to become content in the now. Again, we'll have a whole episode on that, so stick with us. The next step, and I think for me, this is the biggest step of all, and it's one that I've certainly overlooked. And I think it's one of the steps that a lot of people don't realise, and it has absolutely clicked with me in the last year or so. And that is aligning your behaviours with what it is that you want to manifest. So it's acting as though you've already got and received your manifestation. We are going to work through that and go through so much more detail soon. And it's basically about the fact that we're using the power of thought, we're visualizing, we're believing, but you can't then just sit indoors and wait for life to happen. You've got to align your behaviors and show the universe that you are ready to receive your manifestation. So those are your key steps. There are so many sub-levels and subtopics and steps in between, but those are your big ones. We will go through all the stepping stones and the shifts that you can make in order to kind of achieve and accomplish each step. But for now, what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I think it is the best place to start when you want to manifest your dream life. Now, whether you're new to manifesting or an experienced manifester, I think it's really important to do this step and to do it regularly. And it's about taking stock of our thoughts. So I'm going to give you a really amazing fact here, and this actually blew my mind. So here we go. I've written it down. So the average person has 60,000 thoughts per day. So just sit with that for a minute. The average person has 60,000 thoughts a day, okay? And apparently over 75% of those thoughts with each of us are negative. 75% are negative. There's more to come on this, so bear with me. It might be a bit heavy, but this is going to blow your mind and it's going to make you realise the power of your thoughts, okay? So there was a study done, I think it was Cornell University, but I'll have to check that and I'll put it in the notes below the podcast. But so out of those 60,000 thoughts, 75% are negative and 95% of those are repetitive. Now that normally means that those negative thoughts are coming out from our subconscious. So we're probably not even aware of them. If I said to you, can you remember every one of your 60,000 thoughts today? I certainly can't. So that just shows that some and vast majority of those thoughts are operating on our subconscious. So today we're talking about our thoughts and changing our thoughts onto a more kind of positive scale. And that fact there is so important because it just shows how much that if we can shift from a negative to a positive, we can learn to retrain our subconscious so that we're not emitting these 60,000 thoughts, most of which are negative. Now, the last statistic, sorry, that's giving me a stutter. The last statistic that I've got around these 60,000 thoughts, so 60,000 thoughts, 75% are negative, 95 are repetitive, and wait for it, 85% of those thoughts never even happen to us. Can you just think about that for a minute? So if you're feeling a bit rubbish and you've got negative thoughts flying around your head, or you're worried about a meeting, or you're worried about meeting the one or being on your own, most of these thoughts are negative, and most of the vast majority will never even happen. Now, those thoughts are wasted negative energy floating around in your headspace, then having a knock-on effect to ourselves and the frequency of which we are putting out to the universe. So this is where it's really important with our thoughts. So in order to be a successful, powerful manifester and to be able to manifest your dream life, you need to be operating on a high vibrational frequency. Okay. So a high vibe feelings are feelings of happiness, love, excitement, joy, passion, and gratitude. Now, if you're feeling any of these feelings, that means you're operating on a high vibrational frequency. Now, in contrast, if you're operating on a low vibrational frequency, that means you have low vibe feelings. So examples of low vibe feelings could be anger, jealousy, anxiety, sadness, fear, and guilt. Now, remember what I said earlier, that the law of attraction, it operates like a magnet, okay? So imagine whatever it is you're putting out into the universe is what is brought back to you. So when I say you are your thoughts, your life and everything in it at the moment is a product of your thoughts. So take a minute to think about that and think about all the things that you have in your life that you're grateful for. They have come through the power of thought and you operating on a high vibrational frequency. And perhaps you've got things that you're not so happy about or that you want to change. And they can be changed if we can shift and operate and live our life on a high vibrational frequency. Like attracts like, okay? So what we want to do, and this is something that I want you to do this week or for the next few days, and it's to take stock of your feelings and your thoughts. So every time that you have a negative thought, I want you to stop it in its track and be aware of it. So just be aware of your thoughts these next few days, and it's going to blow your mind how much you think or how many times negative thoughts come through your head and into your brain, subconsciously or consciously, or thoughts that you say out loud. So every one of those thoughts, I want you to stop in their track and sit with it, recognize that thought, recognize that negative thought, and immediately trump it with a positive thought, okay? So as soon as you feel a negative thought, stop, cut it off, cut off its life force and replace it with a positive thought. Now, this is about creating awareness for you because it's a really good place to start. And even if you're already a manifestor, it's a really good task for you to do, to just realize that sometimes you can be a really good manifestor and think, well, I've tried to manifest that thing, but actually that's not happening at the moment, or I'm not feeling very good about that at the moment. And I think when you can take part in this task about monitoring your thoughts, I think you can really take stock and go, aha, okay, now actually I'm having quite a few negative thoughts here. And by replacing them with a positive thought, you are trying to force and catapult your subconscious into thinking more positively on a daily basis. So that's what I want you to do for the next 3 days. Monitor them. If you want to write it down, that you can, but you do have 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a hell of a lot of writing. So just take stock and be aware. So let's look at some examples, and it's really easy. Listen, we've got busy lives. You might have kids, a busy job. You've got bills to pay. Of course, it'll be easy to have, lots of negative thoughts in a day. But let's just take an example and say you're moaning about your spouse, you're moaning about your partner, and maybe you're really annoyed that they never help you with the washing up. And you've done everything that day. Maybe you've done all the washing, you've done all the cleaning, you've been to work, you've fed the kids, you've fed your partner, and you're thinking as you're doing the washing up, I cannot believe that my partner is not helping me with the washing up. He's this, he's that, or she's this, she's that. Now stop that negative thought in its path. Be aware of that thought and immediately replace it with a positive one. So look for something to be grateful for with your partner in that moment and say it out loud or say it in your head and think, okay, so they don't help me with the washing up and that annoys me. However, my partner is really good at helping me put the kids to bed or helping to provide and put a roof over our heads. Or maybe he's really good at doing the cooking, or she's really good at doing the cooking. So just immediately replace it and trump it with a positive thought. Now, positive thoughts are actually more powerful than negative ones. So if you can operate even 51% on a positive scale, so you're just tipping the scales into the positive mode. If you can operate more positively than you do negatively, then you're already going to be helping your mindset and helping you to achieve successful manifesting. So another example, and this happened to me recently, that I was stuck in traffic. And say you're stuck in traffic this morning, you're thinking, you're really frustrated and you start saying, that's typical. That's typical. I cannot believe I'm going to be late. I'm so annoyed at all this traffic, and your blood pressure is rising and you feel really stressed. Now, you cannot do anything with this situation. You can't change it. So stop that thought in its tracks. Do not give it life. Do not give it any fuel by adding all these negative thoughts. How typical. It always happens to me. I should have left earlier. This is terrible. My day is going to be terrible. That adds fuel, and this negative thought gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, it's snowballing out of control. And that will lead on to a whole new set of negative thoughts. Oh, well, now I'm going to be late for my meeting, and I'm going to be really terrible in my meeting because I'm late. So it has a real knock-on effect. So stop that thought, stop that frustration or that thought of feeling really hard done by that you're stuck in traffic. Monitor that thought for a minute and instantly replace it with a positive one. For example, you could think, I'm so lucky I have a car that delivers me from A to B. I'm so lucky I'm not walking to work. Actually, don't say lucky, say grateful. We'll get onto that later. I'm so grateful that I don't have to walk to work in the rain. I'm so grateful I'm stuck in my warm car. I'm so grateful that this traffic has given me the opportunity to listen to an amazing podcast on my way in. And you know what? If you can't turn your negative thought into a positive one, then at least dilute it into a neutral one. Because neutral is far better than feeling negative and feeling negative thoughts. So take stock this week. Take stock of your thoughts. Now, even if you don't know what it is that you want to manifest yet, just by changing your thoughts, even today, even in the next hour, even in the next half an hour, you can change your day around. You can change your day from negative to positive, and that will propel you onto a high vibe frequency. Now, once you're on that high vibe frequency, just by changing those negative thoughts into positive ones, just by doing that, you will propel yourself onto a high vibe frequency, and you will automatically start attracting in things that match your frequency. So the universe will deliver more things for you to feel positive about. And that's how the law of attraction and manifesting works. The law of attraction will match your energy. So if you're putting out good thoughts, happy thoughts, and you feel excited and you feel fulfilled, the universe will match your frequency like a mirror and like a magnet, and will bring you more experiences and things to feel happy about, to feel excited about, to feel accomplished about. And the same with the negative. So if you're putting out negative thoughts and feelings into the universe will just match your energy and bring you more things that don't make you feel good, and more experiences that don't make you feel good, like stress, like traffic. So the other thing that's really important to talk about when we're talking about feelings, and especially when we're talking about turning negative feelings into positive ones, and this is a really important point that should not be overlooked. So whilst I'm saying that it's important to turn your negative thoughts into positives and take stock of your thoughts, it's also really important to make sure that we're not just suppressing everything and putting a little positive band-aid over everything. There is such a thing as toxic positivity. And that means that, well, we're in a really stressful situation or something really bad has happened to me, but I must be positive because that's what the law of attraction says, and that's what I need to do to manifest. I've got to be really, 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 really positive. That can actually be quite stressful. It gives me anxiety just saying that. I've got to be really positive. So actually, what we also need to do within the subject of our thoughts, negative, positive, it doesn't mean that we just ignore our negative feelings. And this is really, really important. If we suppress all of our negativity and all of our negative thoughts, then it means we're scared of them and that we're not facing them front on. And that means we're suppressing them. And when we suppress our negativity and our negative thoughts, they can actually come out in different ways, perhaps through sickness or through anxiety, which are obviously, these are all low vibe emotions and low vibe experiences. So now this is one of the questions I had this week. And every week when we do the podcast, I am going to answer some of your questions. So someone asked me this week through Instagram. If you're not following me on the Instagram, please do, and drop me a DM with all of your questions, because I will be reading some out in the coming weeks. I'm at the Holly Edwards, and also on TikTok at the Holly Edwards, where I do daily kind of videos and tips about manifesting. So please do follow that. So someone asked me this week, what happens if you're feeling negative and I can't get on the manifesting train? They said that they were trying so hard to be positive, really, really hard. And this is the problem with toxic positivity. So it's really important when you're feeling negative, or perhaps a bit sad, or you're having a day where you're a little bit off and a little bit out of sorts. We all have those days. It's really important to welcome those negative thoughts. Give yourself time to step back and get perspective on that thought and allow yourself a moment to process it. So it's not just, brushing your thought under the carpet and just hoping it disappears, because it will come and rear its ugly head at some point. But it's allowing yourself just to ask for a second, okay, it's okay that I feel negative at the moment. That is absolutely fine. Whether you are the most powerful manifester in the world, you are still going to have times when you're feeling negative. Bad things still happen. And sometimes other things affect our moods, lack of sleep, hormones, whatever it is. You are still going to have times where you feel negative. So by allowing yourself the space and the time and the care to process that thought, that is an act of self-care, and it's an act of self-care not to ignore that thought. So if you do find yourself having these negative thoughts, I want you to welcome that thought like a warm hug. Welcome it, embrace it, and allow yourself to sit with that for a moment. Allow yourself to maybe feel a little bit rubbish for a moment. That's okay. Give yourself the space you need. But then, and this is the key, because sometimes we can hang on to these thoughts and we can add the fuel, the negative fuel, like I said before, and these thoughts grow and they breed and they get worse and worse. Okay, that's what we don't want it to do. So we're just going to embrace it for a minute, offer the self-care, give it a hug. And then we maybe ask ourselves, why am I thinking this? Is this really a problem? Is this something that I can do something to change this thought that I'm having? Is it out of my control, or is it something that I control? And then the biggest thing then is to then take hold of this negative thought and throw it away and carry on with your day and carry on with your positive mindset. Think about gratitude and the things that you are grateful for. So that is a step which I don't think is spoken about enough. And I think, I'm going to talk to you another time about self-care and how that helps with bringing new things into your life. And a way of self-care is recognizing that your negative thoughts do have some space in your life, just a small portion. And just visualize that thought. Imagine you are holding that thought in your hands in a ball in front of you. Sit with that thought for a minute, feel calm, give yourself some love, and then throw it away into the sky like a ball. Imagine throwing it away from you and then giving gratitude and replacing it with a positive thought. So we're not getting rid of the idea of what I've just explained before about trumping a negative thought with a positive. That is one task in itself, because that is for you to recognize the amount of negative thoughts you might be having. And it's also a way to propel you onto a more positive frame of mind. And the more often that you do that, you will find that you will naturally have a more positive mindset. And then you can really get into the nitty-gritty of attracting in the dreams, all of your dreams that you deserve and that you are totally capable of manifesting. And welcoming the negative thoughts and looking after yourself, giving them a positive cuddle, positive hug, and then releasing those thoughts, that also has its place and is just as important. So that is your task for the next few days. Think of those 60,000 thoughts. Oh my God, it's exhausting, isn't it? Thinking of 60,000 thoughts a day that are running through your head. So think of those thoughts, and this is the very first step in becoming a more positive person. You are going to take control of your life, and you're going to manifest in all the things that you want to manifest. You are the architect of your own life, remember. Don't forget that. So I'm so excited for you to join us next week. The podcast is going to come out every Friday, and we'll have a new topic every week about manifesting, how you can manifest, and we'll do some group manifesting together as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. I hope you leave today feeling a little lighter, a little happier, and maybe a little bit exhilarated and excited and feeling like you're going to be proactive about manifesting. I certainly do. I would so welcome your feedback and welcome your questions. Please follow me on Instagram at the Holly Edwards, HOLLY Edwards, and TikTok at the Holly Edwards, where there'll be so many more manifesting tips. And I'm going to leave you with this thought today. Remember, you are just one thought away from changing your day. Goodbye.